Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We are back. We're doing another best of one Zendikar Rising draft. And we have a swamp this time. Full art. Sweet. Alright, draft is fired. So the land we have, destroy all non-land permanents or a land. That's got to be a pretty strong effect, even at 8 mana. Otherwise we have Ruin Crab, which has got to be a strong card too. 40 card decks. You can mill people out pretty quick. We have Allied Assault, good if you're a party deck. We have Iridescent Horn Beetle, 5 mana, 3/4. Create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each +1/+1 counter you put on creatures under your control list turn. It's pretty cool. You can build around that nicely. Outrider can pump things for each party member. Nahiri's Binding, it's like Arrest. Cascade Seer, Scry X. X is number of creatures in your party, so party cards. Another party card that kills things. Landfall creature, beater, landfall, pinger, damage to creatures, defender reach, gives your guys haste. Solidarity's cool. So it's Ruin, I think it's Ruin Crab versus Ondu Inversion. It's hard to go wrong with spell lands, especially ones that can just bring you right back into the game. So I think I'm actually going to take it over Ruin Crab, even though Ruin Crab is a nuts card, I think. In this format, you just mill people out. But it's so hard to go wrong with. This is a powerful effect. Attached to a land. White board or a land, that's pretty nice. Alright, follow-up pick. Well, we can take Palaka Predation, another spell land, perfectly fine. Malakir Blood Priest, party-oriented deck, sort of, but it's also just a cleric, so it's good. Wind Robber, tough to go wrong with a 1 mana 1/1 flyer that mills and then can potentially draw later. That is nice. In white, we have Shepherd of Heroes, which I think is actually a pretty reasonable card. Win condition gains you some life when it comes in. So a couple good rogues in here. I'm still just thinking take the spell land, just take the predation and never look back. This effect is less exciting, I think, in limited. Discard in general, but at the same time, why not? I think we just take it. Alright, so we've got Relic Golem. It mills. It's a 3 mana 6/6. It can't attack or block unless they have 8 or more cards in their graveyard, but it does mill. That's kind of cool. So good with rogues. The Duelist, I think, is a good card. This is definitely a good card. It's like a combat trick that mills them, and it's a rogue, and it can block. There's a lot going on with that card. Farsight Adept. I actually like this card. Cascade Seer. It's good too. The Skulker's good. If I was going to take... This is kind of cool too. Wizard that returns instants or sorceries. That's good. Kind of just need to figure out a direction I want to go though. I think I'm actually going to take the Duelist. I have a good feeling about this card in general. The fact that it's a combat trick that mills and also can block. Something about that for 1 mana. It's a lot in a small cost. So this is a 4 mana 3/2 flyer. If you control another wizard, you can start drawing some cards. I like this Canyon Jerboa. Cool landfall effect. If you have a bunch of creature, if you have a heavy creature deck, I think it's really good. Kindiox, I played that last time. I think it's good. Concerted Defense, probably not that good in limited. Hogger Constrictor, 3 mana 2/2, and then gives your dudes with 2/2 menace. So it's really a 3 mana 2/2 menace, which is pretty good. Probably good for the green black counters deck. You know, there's nothing in this pack that looks exceptional to me. So I might just take the Jerboa because it kind of goes with our Ondu Inversion. And then I'd probably still play it in a cleric deck. I'm not sure. Okay, so we can take another Duelist. There's another opportunity to get Nahiri's Binding. There's also Blood Beckoning, which I think is good. I don't know how I feel about Binding. I think it's perfectly fine to play Arrest. Arrest is typically good. But there's a lot of... It seems like there's a lot of bounce effects in this format. There's a lot of Enter the Battlefield abilities, which just doesn't stop. It's still perfectly fine, but I'd almost rather just slam another Duelist and see if I can get some rogues. I mean, 5th pick Duelist, I don't know how high up on the pecking order this card is, but it seems like it should be pretty high up there. I mean, it's played in Constructed, and it's good in Constructed. I'll take it. I could see somebody just arguing take the Nahiri's Binding and get over it, but I don't know. I want to try that out. So here we can take Deliberate, but I almost probably rather just have a Blood Beckoning. If you have enough cheap creatures, I could see that being really valuable. So some late white, none of which is exceptionally good. We have a Pickaxe, which is good for landfall decks. Dreadworm, kind of an efficient beater. Pretty efficient beater. Spare Supplies. Drawing cards, not bad. Probably just go with the Blood Beckoning and never look back. Deliberate more for probably the Wizards deck, whereas Blood Beckoning is probably more for a Rogue deck. So we can take the Rogue, we can take the Sky Dancer. It's also evasive and flies. Otherwise, there's a Geyser Mage, which is good. The Lithoform Blight. So, kind of fixes for you. Draws. It's kind of cool. Probably just take the Sky Dancer, I would think. I think Oblivion's Hunger is kind of cool. But probably not exactly what we're looking for. So, we can take the Rogue. Works well with what we're doing. Or we can take the Relic Golem. I'm liking Relic Golem a lot more now. Something kind of cool. Well, I guess that's not true. I was going to say you can block and then mill them too, but you can't. So it might be... We'll see if we can make it work. I think it's an interesting uncommon. We already have 3 cards that mill them too. It might just be right to take the Skitter Sneak there, but I need to try this card out because I want to try it. All right, we can take the Silencer. It is a rogue. I don't think it's going to be great for us. Because if you're strictly rogues, I don't think it's going to be very good. But there's nothing in blue here. And we might not even be able to make blue work. We might be looking at like a black-white party deck. But I'd probably still take the Silencer just because it kills things. So we take another Sky Dancer. We're seeing some late green. So it could be also maybe green-black counters. This works in both that and the landfall deck. This works well with for that deck too. But we'll take the Sky Dancer. I'm kind of just holding out hope I can make blue work, but maybe I won't be able to. I mean, I'm kind of getting hooked up with these Relic Golems, which makes me want to do it a little bit more. Because I already have 4 cards that mill 2. We'll try it. It does definitely seem like blue is getting cut off, though. Alright, this gives flying. We can do it, I guess. I mean, it's only pack 1. It definitely felt like blue got cut, but I don't know how worried about that I am just yet. We'll see what then we get Nissa. Otherwise, another chance of getting another Ruin Crab. Probably just maybe take Crab. Or we completely shift gears because blue wasn't open in pack 1 and take the Nissa. But I mean, this card isn't exceptionally good in Limited. Usually Planeswalkers are, but this gives you a one-time beater each turn. And then it can let you res, is that right? You may put a creature card, it's not bad. But I feel like we have to go for the Ruin Crab now. With the double Relic Golem. Like now I definitely wish I'd taken it over the Yondu inversion. But it was pack 1, pick 1, and spell lands are quite good. But I think we got to take Ruin Crab here. So, follow-up pick. We can take a Sky Dancer. The No Priest it's hard to go wrong with this card. It doesn't fit in with the theme of what we're trying to do, but it's tough to go wrong with a 2-mana Menace lifelink that can res. Otherwise, there's Dwari Disruption, which is totally playable spell land. Bubble Snare, which is totally playable removal. And another Sky Dancer, which I would definitely play. But I think we'll probably just take the Null Priest. Menace Lifelink is great, and the fact that it can res is huge upside. So we'll take it. Kiri, Fearless Voyager. 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever you attack a player with one or more equipped creatures, draw a card. Unattached equipment. Tap a creature, it gains indestructible. It's kind of cool. Another Blood Beckoning is an option. And that's really it. No good other black or blue. Utility Knife. Pretty underwhelming. Skyclave Sentinel. Kicker, but we don't have cards that put counters on, so it's not good for us either. Skyclave Cleric spell land. Maybe we just take the spell land in case we somehow end up 3-color. Well, this would help us fix for 3-color, I guess. There's Blood Price too. The Pack Beast can fix and is, I guess, a rogue, or anything we need for it, for like a silencer, I guess. Or we just take the land that helps us play white spells, because blue is most likely not going to work out. You could splash for a Ruin Crab, I guess. Yeah, it's probably fine. Might just be black-white clerics, but we don't really have any clerics. That's the weird part. I'm just going to take the fixer for now, until I figure this out. So here's a cleric that makes stuff, sack stuff. It's not bad. This card is actually probably pretty good. 2/3 that buffs something else when it dies. I kind of like that. Sack can definitely be good, especially since we didn't pick up that. This is a card that would not be good to play alongside Nahiri's Binding, but I'm probably fine with it. It's a cleric, makes each side sack. We can give it a try. Well, the Relic Golems probably aren't going to work now, since blue is just too clearly cut. So we can take Subtle Strike. It's not bad. Sky Dancers are still playable regardless, just because they're flash flyers, so they're like surprise blockers. But we really don't have any removal, so I'm kind of okay with Subtle Strike here. It just kills X1s, permanently buffs one of your dudes. Randomly good with some of the +1/+1 counter cards, like Skyclave Sentinel, for example. Banneret, I mean, it's good. We have a ton of mana. Probably just take the Sentinel, though. Flyer that can get bigger, especially if we find more +1/+1 counter cards. So, are we a party deck at this point? Probably not, but we have right now Cleric, we have Rogue, and that's about it. But, I mean, there's nothing else here we really want. I don't think we're going to end up playing Blood Price, although it's probably at its best in a Cleric deck. But I'll probably still just take the Colossus. So we can take the Mucklord now. I think it's actually pretty good for us. We're probably not a party deck either, so I'm not exactly sure what we are. We're probably just black-white good stuff without the good stuff. Doesn't sound like a very good deck. This, if we had more +1/+1 counter synergies, would make sense. We can just take the Mucklords, I guess. Somehow we're wheeling blue stuff here, but it's not like any of it's that exceptional anyway. Alright, I guess we can take a cat that we don't really need. Disenchant. We don't have a sideboard, so that doesn't matter. We can take the Dreadworm. All the Mucklords. Well, I think they're fine, at least. So Journey to Oblivion is some removal. We're not really a party deck, but it might still just have to be good enough. We don't have a ton of ways to gain life, so the Blight Priest is probably still fine there. Or we can take Malakir Rebirth. which is not bad. Yeah, unfortunately we're off the rogues, and this deck needs some upgrades. Probably just take the journey. It's not very good for us, to be honest. It's gonna end up being a pretty expensive Oblivion Ring, I think. But other options are just Malachor Rebirth, which I don't think is that exciting either. It's not bad actually. Spell land. We kind of already have a deck. You know what? Maybe I'll just take it. It's a spell land, and the effect is just useful enough. Maybe we wield that Skyclave Sentinel, which actually does look quite a bit better now with 3 Mucklords. Shadow Stinger. Could take the Sajiri Shelter, another spell land. We kind of already have a deck, so I'm okay with it. Vanquish the Weak is some removal, but I don't know how much I care about it. I mean, there's definitely some cards in here we could upgrade, but I feel like just spell lands are so versatile and useful and good. And this is a useful effect. Protection from removal lets you get by blockers. Lets you, it's like a combat trick. I think we just take the Shelter. I'm going to take it over the, I think the fact that this is a land makes it more useful than Vanquish. I don't even think that's controversial. So Shadow Stinger, I mean, we do have some rogues in here. I just don't think it's that great for us. I don't think we have enough rogues to really make it work, unfortunately. Just have a couple. We have a couple rogues, but we might just take a Vanquish here. Just a kill spell. I think I like it more than Smite, probably because it's cheaper. Deals with less things, but... Or we can take the Oblivion's Hunger. But I guess we'll take Vanquish. So we can take another Demon's Disciple. We can take the Gloom Hunter. I think this card's fine. Particularly since we're, at this point, we're not even... Man. I wish we had more ways to gain life now. There's 1, 2. We just don't have enough ways to gain life to... Well, yeah, you can only give it to another target cleric, and we really don't have a lot of clerics. I mean, I want this card, but maybe we just take it anyway, because we're in the cleric colors. We're trying to find them. Yeah, and like now we can take this at least. This is unfortunate because it's like pack 3 we're making this come together. But nothing to be done. So we can take another Subtle Strike. We might wheel some of these Sentinels, which would make them quite a bit better. Otherwise, we take a Farsight Adept. I'll take the Subtle Strike, though. So, Skitter Sneak. It's basically a 4-mana 3/4. Or we can take Smite, which I'm probably not going to play, but... I've already got 19 creatures. Alright, whatever. I'll take the Smite. Dauntless Unity probably is fine, actually. There's nothing else here anyway, so we'll take it. Spare supplies. No, we'll take... This looks a lot better now, so I guess that's good. Disenchant we're not playing, but whatever. I'll take it. Oblivion's Hunger. We probably have enough counters now to totally play this. If we want. Another Dauntless Unity. Probably not going to happen, but we'll look. Either of these matter. Alright. Bit of a mess. Not going to lie. Wanted to start rogues. That didn't pan out. Kind of had to pivot into clerics, which also didn't quite pan out as well as I would have liked. But we'll figure it out. So we currently have how many spell lands? Because we can play them all, which is nice. And we have a decent amount. Yeah, we actually did get a good amount of spell lands. Relic Golems are gone. That's not going to happen. So 6 spell lands. Can probably play 19 lands, probably. We have clerics, rogues, I don't think that we should be going for party, so I think Colossus is out. I don't love Silencer, but it can, I guess, be a 6 mana 3/2 that gives -2/2. It might be useful enough in a pinch. And actually, a Tinted Healer, somehow we made like a mini cleric theme happen, but if we're gonna go for the Mucklord plan too, we're a bit mixed up, I think. Like Ox isn't really fitting in with what we're wanting to do. How many creatures do we have? 17. So we can't kind of cut a ton of creatures, and one of those creatures is a Skyclave Cleric too. Yeah. So I don't want to cut clerics because we need to maximize this. We need to maximize this, and we need to maximize this. I think somehow we ended up with a decent amount of clerics, actually. All right, Pressure Point can go. It's just an easy card to cut. If I was going to cut creatures, it's probably just a random 2 mana 2/1 that's a 2/3 sometimes. It's just not that good. Oblivion's Hunger. I mean, we do have quite a few ways to give +1/+1 counters, but I don't know if that's what I'm looking for. I don't really want to cut Evasion. If I'm going to cut one more creature, it's a non-cleric card. So probably like an Ox or something. Either the Ox or the Dreadworm. Which one do I like more? I mean, they're both landfall. I feel like actually the Ox is more useful than the Dreadworm. Like Indestructible is quite good, and it's got an extra power, but tapping down can be really strong. Kind of don't want to run either of them because they don't work very well with the Silencer. The Silencer's not even looking that good in here, but so where are we at now? We're still at 6 lands and we have 17 lands we could run right now, but I think we cut more. I do think we cut more. Probably 2 more. 19. I want to run 19 lands, I think, with 6. I guess it's really 5 spell lands. But I'm still fine with 19 lands, I think. Because I would much rather play these as spells. So we can cut maybe like Oblivion's Hunger. We already have Sajiri's Shelter, which is similar. We do have sort of the little +1/+1 counter theme going, which is true. But Smite, it feels like an easy card to cut. Like I'd rather just do Vanquish. I really don't like these types of removal that are very specific, and we are removal light, admittedly. Double Dauntless Unity seems wrong. Let's maybe just see if we can do 1. Maybe this. Still have protection from removal, possible card draw with some of our stuff. How many clerics do we have too? Let's figure this out. Got 1. The funny thing is, our deck doesn't have many clerics, but we got like incredible ones. Like Null Priest is great. Lifespawn is strong. A Tinted Healer is strong. But how many did we actually get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is not ideal. Not ideal. But might be where we're at here. So 6 lands plus another 12. That's only 18. Oh, it's 13. No, we're at the right count here. So twice as much black as white. So we'll go with... 6 and 7. But wait, I have to twice as much black as white, and we have the extra black. So I think we probably are going to end up doing something like this, because this would be 10 black, and no, it's 11 black because of the pathway, and then 5, 6, 7. God, This blows up so much that I can't even do a count properly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9, yeah, 11 black, 9 white. That's actually fine. I don't think this deck turned out as good as I wanted it to. Ultimately, I don't think that we could have made blue work, though. Just because blue is just getting cut so hard. But this deck's not amazing, I'm not going to lie. 6 clerics is low. We don't have a consistent party theme going. We do have some strong cards in here. We have a good amount of spell lands, but this deck needs some help. This deck is going to need some definite help. All right, well, we'll see what we can do with it. We'll see you round 1. Whoops, round 1. Sorry, I kept this hand. We're probably going to have to play the cleric as a white source, although that's not true. We're not in a rush to get white, so maybe I'll hold off, because I'd rather play this cleric at some point and gain some life, because I have synergies with it. So sure. Palaka Predation. Well, maybe I can play that too. We'll see. Let's do the Mucklord, I guess. What's kind of cool about Mucklord is it works well with Disciple. You play the Disciple, they both sack, you get a counter, you get a 4-2. Not bad. The Scythe Cat. Well, what's cool about this is I don't think they're blocking, so I get in for 2, I play the Disciple, we both sack, my guy gets bigger. Yeah, we'll do that. And then I'm probably, at this point, I still really don't want to play the cleric because of the synergies here. Really good synergies. But we'll play the Disciple. And I guess we'll do the cleric. This brings us towards Ox range, I guess. It lets us play the Cleric of Life's Bond. We only have 4 clerics left now. Unless I didn't count the Skyclave cleric. I forgot if I did or not. So we might have 7, I forget. Malika Rebirth. That's actually a pretty good draw. Let's get in there. And we're probably going to end up playing this as a land because I want to do the McKindy Ox. So I think what we're going to do is the Cleric. And we'll play the Predation. And then we'll leave up the Subtle Strike and the Rebirth here. What's kind of interesting about Rebirth with Disciple is if they kill it, comes back and then each player sacks. I kind of like that actually. Like if they use a removal here on Disciple, I just Rebirth it and then they sack their Scythe Cat. It's pretty good. And I pump my clear. Yeah, that's actually insane. I really hope that they end up using a removal spell on this Disciple. That would be nice. It's not worth using a Subtle Strike because I still lose my Cleric. I mean, technically I could Subtle Strike, put the counter on my Disciple, and then pump the thing, but they're not even they're not even really interested here, so that's fine too. Okay, so I mean, we can play the Ox and tap something, but I think I'm actually just going to attack with the Disciple again here. And this is actually cool. They double blocked. They're going to lose, but this is perfect for us. So we go like this. We go Rebirth. And this is actually really good. Unless I cast it wrong. No, I did. So this, kill your thing. My guy dies. It comes back. I sack it. Pumps my cleric. That's really, really good. And then we can play the Ox, and we're actually in pretty strong shape now. We got rid of both of their 4-power dudes. We have a developed board. Got Blood Beckoning somewhere in this deck. So I think we just get in. We actually don't play the land. We want to save the land for Ox. Okay. Well, now we can pump. So, counter their spell is pretty slick. Guess we'll just get in for 8 here. I'm sandbagging lands because it doesn't really matter, I guess. And now they're keeping their guys back, which is interesting too. So I think what we do is just play the Jerboa. We play a land. And we tap the Dreadworm. And this makes it so they actually don't even have a good double block. They probably have to double block the Ox, I'm guessing. They're actually doing the Cleric with the Gloom Hunter, no less, which is kind of interesting. I like this block better than the double block on the Ox. Yeah, I think they figured that out. But then why are they chumping? I guess they sort of have to. So, yeah. That worked pretty well for him. So I could play the land, get in with this, and they can trade. And then they just feel like they end up with the better board in that situation, though. So I probably just hold off for now. I don't really want to make this trade, so I think we hang out. Because our cleric gets bigger. So, Tended Healer would have been nice. We still have Ondu Inversion somewhere in here, right? Vanquish. Vanquish is pretty slick. So we go Vanquish on the Black Bloom Rogue. And then we play the land, and this does force them to chump, which is good. So we're so close, but we play the land, we pump our team. They trade. I mean, I guess it makes sense to attack with the healer, but then we have to chump. Yeah, I think we have to attack with healer here. I don't want to, but we need to chump, so. All right, we'll see you for the next one. All right, game 2. This is a good hand. So we'll probably go cleric into Blight Priest, I guess. Swarm Shambler is pretty good. So we can go Blight Priest here, build up towards this Null Priest with Kicker. It's an expensive Kicker, I suppose, but we can get that. So Blight Priest, I actually don't love, because I might need to trade it for a Hellhound, but I don't know if I... Yeah, I don't know if I want to trade it for a Hellhound or not, to be honest. I guess it keeps the Shambler at bay. All right. So, yeah, we're starting to get there. For this Null Priest, which is good. Unfortunately, this Canyon Jerboa is not looking so sexy against this opponent's board. But we probably just jam it and play this and then pass. attacking instead of pumping, which is unexpected. Alright, so I might need to stop playing this Cliffhaven Kite Sail. It's okay. Let's go. I wish this had a +1/+1 counter on it. I think we got to go this so that next turn we can do the Null Priest. And then we'll just hang tight. And probably block the 2/1 and then play in Oblivion's Hunger, probably. I'd probably rather have this. Alright. Which creature are we bringing back? We're probably bringing back the 3/2, I guess. Yeah, makes sense. So kind of an easy brute block. Hellhound we might just have to take. It's at least reliant on them. I mean, we're in kind of a rough spot. I can't attack with the Null Priest either, because they can just block and then make their dude bigger. Yeah. Well, I have a land, though, to pump this. Alright, I guess we do this. Not a big fan of the spot we're in. Well, Shelter's actually kind of sweet. So I guess we go Kite Sail. I can't block anyway. Oh well, we're getting kind of rewarded here. I guess since they can always pump the Shambler, I'd rather kill that. And we'll give it pro green. Alright, Sky Dancer. So now we just have to hang tight and make bad blocks, basically. So this has trample too. So probably just have to chump. And then, well, let's see. I think we have to take care of this now, though. Yeah. I think we have to take care of this now, but we're going to take some tramples. We're taking 3-5 total. Yeah. It's not ideal. I mean, we're gaining a little bit, too, which is nice, but I feel like the thing that grows is the thing we need to take care of the most here. A silencer that can kill the Hellhound, and then we die to a Trampler. Alright. Let's see you for the next one. Alright. Looks like a keep to me. I think Ondu Inversion is so far away that we'll probably just play it as a land. I forgot if I'm on the play or the draw. I guess if I'm on the draw, I have a chance to draw a land and then maybe hold on to the Ondu Inversion, but 8 mana is just such an excessive amount that you basically, it's just like a late game Hail Mary that you can get. So since we're on the play, we'll play it first there. Do I want to do a turn 2 Null Priest? I kind of don't. Just the upside of this is so big. But then again, it's a Menace Lifelinker. Alright. Alright, it's too tough to go wrong with a turn 2 Menace Lifelink. That is very, very strong. So now we can probably play the Mucklord. And what I like about that is it sets us up for a Disciple, sacking the Mucklord, pumping our Null Priest, which I think is actually going to be really good. Another option was to play the Sky Dancer, which would not be bad, but I think this is better. So we'll go with the Disciple here. They'll sack the Pack Beast, which I guess is fine. And then we'll go land and pass here. So Blight Priest has pretty good synergy with the Null Priest. We have a couple protection spells in here too. Oh, that's actually a good draw. We can't play it yet, but it is a good draw because we'll give -2 to something, which looks good on this board. But for now, I think our plan is just attack with the Disciple. Which is fine. It did its job, I think. And then we pass, and we're gonna play the Sky Dancer to get a evasive beater going. Shepherd of Heroes is pretty good. Especially since we can't attack really profitably with the Sky Dancer anymore. But if we draw a land, we can play the Silencer. That's a really bizarre attack. I could have actually blocked it with the Sky Dancer. I wonder if that would have been better. It might have actually been better to do that. That's pretty cool too, actually. Let's just play the Blight Priest, leave up the Hunger, because we can draw a card with it too, which is nice. And just kind of an odd attack. So if they have removal, we have Hunger. And if they have removal, they've got to want to do it on the Null Priest, I would think. So odd that they're attacking. I mean, we're so far ahead that I don't even see a reason to block. I don't even see a reason to block the Tactician. I think we just take it. Didn't get the land. I think we're just gonna kill the blocker here. So we don't have protection anymore for our null priest, but I'd say we're looking pretty good at the moment. Their attacks have been pretty bad. Skyclave Cleric. Well, what's cool about that is we can get some surprise. Well, I was going to say surprise life loss to them with the life gain, but they basically screwed up by just making bad attacks. I think they probably could have maybe not necessarily won, but definitely done better there. So, all right, we'll see for the next one. No white mana, but I think I'm actually going to keep this hand. It's tough to go. It's so tough to go wrong with a turn 2 Menace Lifelinker. It puts them in an awkward spot, so I like it. And I actually don't want to play the Malakir Rebirth if I can prevent that, but we might not get that luxury. We're running 19 lands, so it's a lot. Hopefully it's enough. What the? So main phase Duelist. I don't get it. Because they didn't target a creature they can't even mill me for 2. How did I not know that? All right, now we get to go Cleric of Lifespawn, which is way better for us. Because now we can go Null Priest and leave up Malakir Rebirth, which is really sweet. And then we can start even gaining life and making that bigger. Why aren't they targeting anything? My opponent is absolutely blowing my mind right now. So first we want to go land. We want to go Null Priest. Get in with the Cleric. And then we pass. And the next turn we can even get the Sky Dancer down. Leave up the Rebirth. Alright. Sure, you want to try and race my Menace Lifelinker, you got it. Alright. They're just taking it. So they're not attacking, not blocking. Not sure what they're doing. They're white-blue, which makes me not want to leave up a Rebirth here because it seems kind of pointless, to be honest. Like, Rebirth's not going to protect... It's going to protect against targeted removal, but not like enchantment removal, not bounce spells, so it seems kind of pointless to leave it up. Yeah, so then we'll just go land, tap your one relevant dude, bash for a bajillion, and they gotta be dead. They gotta have a bounce, they gotta have something, and then make some chump blocks. Not the best decision making for my opponent, but They might be new. They are bronze. Whatever. We'll take victories. We need them. We're getting thrashed otherwise. So, all right. We'll see you for the next one. Yeah, I guess we keep this hand. I don't think it's a particularly good hand, but well, just got better. Because now we can do Null Priest into probably like Subtle Strike or something. Well, that's pretty perfect, actually. Especially since we don't want them to have wizards on board. But this is a good opportunity to play the Mucklord, I think. So I'm going to do that instead of the Subtle Strike, because I can't block this anyway. And it's better use of mana. So let's get in there. Play the Mucklord. Pass. And actually the Kite Sail can let us get in with the Mucklord too, which is nice. That is nice. Let me think about this. Yeah, I mean, it feels like a pretty easy Subtle Strike here. Like, I want to do it so that I can kill both. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So I think we just do Subtle Strike now. Kill this. Pump this. And then we can do Kite Sail on this. And get in for 5. And then we can, I guess, play the Cleric. Because it doesn't do that much anyway right now. Undo Inversion doesn't seem like something we're going to want to play this game, but might as well take a look, right? So they do have the Vigilance, which makes this a little bit trickier, but at the same time, we just flip-flop this little bad boy over here and get in for 3. And then we can play a land and play the Mucklord. So we can block with the Mucklord and pump our Null Priest, so I'll probably do that. I can also take it, but it changes the clock, so I think it's worth it to do this. I mean, they can have pump, they can have removal, whatever. Well, Sajiri Shelter is pretty perfect, actually. Because now we have protection for Null Priest, which is really nice. Kind of necessary. I'm really happy to see Cliffhaven Kite Sail doing something, too, I'll tell you that. Really happy to see that. I guess we could use another black, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we got him on a 2-turn clock now with the Null Priest, which is nice. And we have protection, which is really important. Dauntless Unity, so I can kill them. And I have enough mana to do Shelter on top of that. That's pretty slick. Alright, well, I suppose I'd rather them negate that than my Shelter if they had removal or something, so this is fine. Gain 2 life. Still not enough. All right. Getting some victories with this deck is pleasant because the draft turned out to be a bit of a mess. So we'll see for the next one. All right. Well, this is a keep. Not the most exciting hand I've ever seen, but it's got some stuff going for it. Uh-oh. Alright, I think we just take care of this dude right now. I don't want to deal with no Clerical Lifespawn. We know what that card can do. I think we'll just do the Muck Lord. Feels good here. Alright, we'll take our medicine. Alright, so now we have Skydancer plus a Subtle Strike. I like that. This could potentially be pretty good for us. Shepherd of Heroes. Unfortunately, that one is also pretty good for them. Let's do the Skydancer now. So they're party deck? No? Oh, they're like clerics with random warrior thrown in there. Alright. Kindiox, not bad actually. I think we just jam it. This lets them get an attacking with the Shepherd, but maybe we can beat back with our Skydancer at some point. I'm not sure actually. It's a bit of a tricky spot. I have to find some way to tactically do Dauntless Unity plus Subtle Strike to take that out. It's still kind of a 2-for-1. Attended Healer is cool. We don't actually have another Cleric right now. So, 2 cards left in their hand. I mean, another option I can do is I can just go for the Dauntless Unity Subtle Strike now. It's really not that great. But Attended Healer's not doing that much either. So we might just have to risk it. We're going to get 3-for-1 if it doesn't work out. Which I don't love either. Well, maybe we can trade some damage for a little bit here. We have another Skydancer. We'll figure it out because we can do Skydancer plus Subtle Strike. So I think, I mean, we can also, I guess we can just do Skydancer plus Subtle Strike, but it's still a 2-for-1. I think we'll take another 3. We're getting possibly more flyers on board, so we'll see. And like I said, if I get the land, there's a chance we can swing this with a big Dauntless Unity. 2 mana 1/3s I'm not too scared of. Deadly Alliance, huh? Silencer, which I can't quite play yet as much as I want to. Wish that I could leave up Subtle Strike. So we can double block the Outrider, which is fine. We'll trade a 2/3 for a 3/3. I mean, another option is not do that. Take 6. Go for a big Dauntless Unity. with the big Dauntless Unity, we get 4, 8, 12, 16, which is lethal. It's assuming they don't block with anything, which doesn't seem likely. So I think we do have to double block here. Attended Cleric, or Healer rather, isn't doing that much anyway right now, so it's probably okay. I mean, technically we're winning the race, I guess. But now Silencer only gives neg1 because I lost my Cleric. But we probably need another body on board for this Dauntless Unity. Can swing team, and they probably don't block. But at this point, I kind of feel like I have to. Yeah. So I think the plan is Silencer. It wasn't going to die anyway, but I'm glad they used that. So we kind of have to Hail Mary here, I think. This has Vigilance too. Basically, because of the Vigilance in my life total, I can't profitably do that here. So now we just have to straight up chill, which I don't want to do, but it's just kind of where we're at. I mean, we can potentially get a good defensive play out of this. I can attack with everything and they might take it too, and then they die. What are the odds that they do that? Do I want to bank on them doing that too is another question. Because if they attack with everything, I can pretty profitably block. But they didn't block last time. What are the chances they block now? It kind of looks like a desperation move if I do attack with everything. This is a tough play. Because I die if they block with either. Or if they just block with the Cleric, I definitely die. Like I said, defensively, I've got a pretty good play. Maybe they take it and they don't expect the Dauntless Unity. If they block with the Cleric, I die. I feel like they probably block with the Cleric because they don't need it. And I have a good defensive play. That was a tough, very, very difficult choice there. Extremely difficult choice. Because like I said, if they don't block with Cleric, I win. If they do, the difference between winning and losing is the block. And I just feel like they're probably going to block. So we'll go like this. And then we do Dauntless Unity. Kicked. And then we go Subtle Strike. I don't want to lose my Sky Dancer. So I guess we do this, so, because... I mean, I didn't even have to do that, I guess. Technically. No, that's pretty good, actually. All right. So all in all, we ended up going like 3-3. Not very good, but honestly, this deck was pretty poor, I think. Kind of interestingly, we had good. The cleric quality we had was good, but we just we went into the strategy so late that like we just missed out on way too much. So, the learning phase of drafting when you're a month behind is kind of frustrating. It's much better to learn right at the beginning. Unfortunately, due to school, I just wasn't able to do that. So I'm just very behind on the decisions in draft, and it's frustrating because I don't want to be behind. I feel like this is a format with that I'm going to be able to do very well in. It's just going to take some time. So, all right, on to the next one. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you then.